Hello survivors, welcome to the update to our Poison Concoction Pathfinder build in PoE 2. Let's just get straight into a map over here. I don't even remember where I was previously. I believe we were somewhere over here doing this. There we go, we were doing this map over here. So there we go, we've got the perfect map, 73% more monster life. We do actually want monster life on maps. It actually helps us, and I'll explain that once we get into the gem section. But I do want to just show you how the build now looks before we get into the rest of the details, just so we don't necessarily bore you, and at least you get to see, the good stuff. And then if you want to stick around for the explanation and all of that, you still can do that. So throw down the poison concoction, and then everything around us that isn't, gone will be gone very, very soon. So there we go. The damage that we're currently doing is based on enemies' max life. So the more max life enemies have, the more damage we're actually dealing. And the more enemies there are on the screen, obviously the more damage we're going to be doing as well, because we got the bursting plague support in the decompose skill, which we are currently using. So there's a rare, beautiful stellar amulet for me. That's fantastic. I've been doing wonderful jobs collecting uniques for chance orbs. So if you actually disenchant uniques, you get chance orbs, because a lot of the uniques aren't worth any money or a lot of money at all. So just disenchant them and you get some chance shards, and then a couple of chance shards become chance orbs, and then you can make some divines by being very lucky. Alright, we do have another rare. Maybe it's not a rare. Let's go. It is quite a slow mapping build. I mean, it's not that it's slow. It's just that if there aren't enemies around us, it is going to feel very slow compared to how it can be. So the more enemies on the map, the stronger the build's actually going to be. So juicing up the map and getting a lot of enemies on it is actually more beneficial to us than it is detrimental. The only thing is it becomes quite dangerous in terms of getting stuck on. I need to pay attention to our surroundings, which I haven't been, and that's actually landed up getting me knocked out or losing XP or whatever the case may be over there. So we don't really want to waste our one map, and that's happened to me a couple of times because I've been caught on terrain for not paying attention. So you do have to pay a little bit of attention because we are quite squishy with our ghost dance on. But there's a good example of a chance orb for us. Some of the things that are really, really good on here, doing Ritual, Expedition, and Breach are fantastic on this build. Doing things like bossing as well as Delirium for some reason is really bad on this build. You can do Delirium because you obviously do enough damage just with the Poison Concoction, but it's not as smooth, and the Decompose builds don't work on Delirium mobs, because for some reason Delirium mobs, as soon as they have lost all their life, they don't leave a corpse on the floor. They actually tend to disappear from existence completely. So this is actually quite a hectic rare monster. There's another counter to our build over there. You can see, because there is fire on the ground, the explosion occurs, and that explosion actually deals damage, but it's not as much damage as the poison we deal. So it's actually bad to have fire monsters or have a fiery ground or burning ground or any of that stuff on in the game. So you don't want areas have burning ground as a modifier. And then Delirium, because the bodies of the enemies don't explode, they just disappear. You don't really want to do Delirium. It is possible to do it, but it is harder. It's as if you don't have the decompose skill at all. So the clear is slower, but definitely doable. It's not impossible. Whereas bossing, also not impossible, but definitely not something you really want to be doing with this build. You maybe want to unlock the maps with this build and wait for the bossing to be done. I mean, you can see I've actually turned my bossing down to these just for the king, fit for a king and spoils of war, and then I've unequipped all the other ones just because I don't have enough damage for those bosses. So really and truly the bossing numbers of this build are atrocious, but we're definitely going to be looking at how we can fix that further on. And also once we get a couple of more currency, I do have 2 div to my name right now, so that's going to be invested into the build, and we'll see from there. I do have an idea of what we can do that's definitely going to help us. Alright, so that was the map. Let me show you the gear changes that we've currently got on the character, as well as the gem setup, and then some of the changes that I'm thinking of doing that will enhance the damage for the character. So starting off with the the gear. All my gear is the same except for 3 pieces. It's the helmet, the chest piece, and the boots. This we're going to change, the rings we're going to change, rest, and then upgrade our amulet as well as our quiver. Now, what we did is, this was actually in the last video, it was sitting in my stash tab on the side over here, so you can actually go take a look. So for the 1 div that we spent on the build, this helmet is included, so we're just going to show you what it is. I'm not going to worry about explaining anything more than that. This is new. It cost us like 1 or 2 exalted orbs. It's really piss cheap, so just go buy one. If you are playing with this build to level, you can get a grant level like 10 decompose or whatever. I don't actually know the exact numbers, but you can get a grant skill of a lower number, and that's going to allow you to use this earlier than level 78, and therefore you can have those body explosions during the campaign with you. So very strong. You do get movement speed from it, a little bit of strength. It does require 20 strength, which is pretty easy to get. And then you can even, get 20 strength and then remove 5 or 10 depending on your strength roll on the boots once you've equipped them. Then we've got the chest piece. It gives us damage taken recouped as life, chaos resistance, life, and then spirit with the resistances. This cost me 1 divine, so the build total right now is up to 2 divines spent on the build. That's going to get a lot crazier, a lot quicker as soon as I can get more divines, but for now that's what it is. And everything that's changed since the last video, which will be done in the description, so you can go take a look at that if you don't have the first video. With regards to our gems, we've added Decompose with the boots, which is using Bursting Plague, Corrosion, Persistence, and Magnified Effect. Our Poison Concoction, everything's the same with Scattershot, Comorbidity, Deadly Poison, and Chaos Infusion. We've deactivated Ghost Dance. We need 8 more spirits and we will be able to equip it again. It is quite good for defenses, so when hit we consume a stack of a Ghost Shroud to recover energy shield equal to 5% of our evasion. So in this case, because our evasion is sitting at 8,313, we'll actually recover 400 energy shield when we hit and Ghost Dance procs. So that's actually quite a lot of energy shield for free for 8 extra spirits. Wind Dance is still using Blind and Maim. Despair, we were using Blasphemy. I changed it. We now activate it on our left click with Inspiration, Heightened Curse, and Focused Curse. So the skill delay, so when we click it, it actually pops much faster than if we don't have Focused Curse. It actually takes a lot longer. Okay, that felt like the delay was actually the same time. So that's weird. It says after 1 second delay, and then if we add this in, it says it's after 1 second delay. So that's weird. Doesn't seem like it changes the effect, but it's supposed to. But anyway, whatever. We added a Withering Presence. What this does is it withers the enemy. Withered makes it so that enemies in your presence take increased chaos damage up to 50%, which is fantastic. We're running Alchemist Boon, which grants us 0.27 flask charges per second, also increasing life recovery from our life flasks. So really strong to have in this type of build where you use your mana flasks to drop Poison Concoction. And then because we don't have movement speed on our boots, I added in Blink with the Ingenuity. If you feel like Blink isn't as good as dodge rolling and you don't mind moving at a snail pace, then you can remove Blink, add Ghost Dance, and then maybe add some, add more supports to it, which cost Spirit, which will then help you with defenses or whatever the case may be. And then if you don't know, if you go and identify the things and you go and see Katsul, you can click on Disenchant, and as you can see, we get a Chant Shard for that, and that's actually going to, help us with whatever it is that we need to do. And then we've got a Stellar Amulet, which we'll use at a later stage. So, that is what the update is on the builds. You can see we're literally using 2 skills in our skill bar. It's really fun to just mess around with it and have fun with it. One thing that is very, very important as well is the way that actual poison magnitude is scaled. So I just figured out this the other day. If we take a look at poison over here, I mean, I should have just read this. You can see the, come on game, the base magnitude of poison is chaos damage per second equal to 20% of physical and chaos damage dealt by the hit that inflicted the poison. So what that means is our base, the hit damage of our poison concoction is going to affect how much damage that deals. Now this is important for how we're going to fix our bossing damage, and how that's going to work is everything in our gear that can roll adds whatever damage to attacks. We need to change that from fire, cold, lightning, and make all of it physical damage. The other thing that we can do is on rings, on both our rings, we can roll 30% to increased chaos damage, and then use our chaos, what do we call them? These things over here, these breach catalysts, to increase the chaos damage that they then get. So I think it goes up to 42% or something ridiculous like that. It would be 20%, so it's 50. I think it's actually like 45. No, because if you have 30 divided by 3, so it's maybe 36 or 42%, increased damage total because of the quality on the ring. So you can get 42% increased chaos damage on your rings, and also plus physical damage to attacks using your rings, and then maybe going for critical hits, because if it's based on the hit and you crit with that hit, it will increase the magnitude of the poison dealt. So we'll look at that in a path of building, but that is a sense that I'm getting. If I want to take this character into a bossing type of character, then that's the way to do it, and we keep corpse weight for, mapping and clearing. It's just a little bit slower. But that's the build, that's the update. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think about the build itself if you're playing it, and what you think about going for the chaos physical route, crit route for bossing. You can let me know down in the comment section. Just before we disappear, I did forget to actually mention over here, you can see the skill tree. We are going over here to Event Horizon, but everything else we've got is what we said we would in the last episode, which again will be down in the description. And we did remove our Waters of Life since we added Alchemist Boon. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and just remember, keep safe survivors. Until next time, cheers.